Hey, so welcome back to the Happy Trekkers channel. My name is Mike, and it is getting to be winter in a lot of the US, and if you haven't already, you will soon start to get snow. Now, I live in Southern California, where that doesn't really happen, and instead I wake up to a foot and a half of sunshine all winter long. But even for those of you that live in the snowy climates, you may be relieved to know that it could get worse. A lot worse. So with that, let's take a look at the coldest cities in the United States. Number 10, Rochester, Minnesota. Now, this is located obviously in the state of Minnesota. Rochester is home to the world-renowned Mayo Clinic, and it's home to a big IBM facility. Incidentally, they do have a Mayo Clinic in Florida, so if you get sick, you might want to pick that one. It's warmer. It is known to be the second windiest city in the United States, and Rochester has a slightly higher altitude, and it has an average snowfall of 44 inches. Pretty cold. Number 9, Huron, South Dakota. Now, Huron is known for its cold, dry winters and wide temperature extremes, and really nothing else. I mean, seriously, have you ever heard of Huron, South Dakota? In fact, if it wasn't for my friend Kurt being from Sioux Falls, I wouldn't know of a single city in that entire state. The lack of mountains and trees translates to a very harsh winter as the cold winds come down from Canada, and there is absolutely nothing to block their path. Because of this, the average temperature can drop to just about 5 degrees in the winter. 5 degrees. Number 8. St. Cloud, Minnesota. Now, St. Cloud is about 65 miles or so from the Twin Cities, and it straddles the Mississippi River. The lowest recorded temperature here is negative 43. So it gets pretty cold, and it sees moderate to heavy snowfall pretty much all winter long. But the good news is the January lows are on average around 11 degrees. So it's got that going for it, which is nice. Number 7 is Bismarck, North Dakota. Now, the city of Bismarck is located in the coldest state in the continental U.S. That is North Dakota. It's the capital, and in 2020, Forbes magazine ranked Bismarck as the 7th fastest growing small city in the United States. Why? I have no idea. The reason North Dakota experiences such harsh winters is because of its location at the extreme north end of the Midwest. And Bismarck's climate is characterized by cold, somewhat dry, snowy winter weather and hot, humid summers. It gets down to around 4 degrees on average, and it has bottomed out at a negative 44 at one point. Very cold. Number 6 is Aberdeen, South Dakota. Another city in South Dakota I've never heard of. For a minute, I thought maybe I had heard of this, but turns out there's another Aberdeen. That's in Maryland, where they make bombs and test nerve gas, which makes it slightly less enticing, but nonetheless. With the average temperature falling to about 1 degrees in the winter. The city has very long winters, again, due to where it's situated, and again, the absence of mountains and trees or anything of interest whatsoever does nothing to stop the cold winds from coming down to Canada. They face no resistance whatsoever. Very, very cold place. And number 5 is Duluth, Minnesota. It's located on the north shore of Lake Superior, and Duluth is kind of like a starting point for road trips touring the North Shore leading up into Ontario. With a humid continental climate, Duluth experiences long, snowy winters, leading to a pretty steady snow cover from late November all the way through late March. It's also been hailed as the air-conditioned city due to the Lake Superior's cooling effect, even in the summers. The lowest recorded temperature for the city is negative 39, but they get an incredible average snowfall of 81 inches. That is almost 7 feet for those of you that forgot your 12 times tables, but that is a lot of snow, and it is the highest on our list. Number 4 is Fargo, North Dakota. Now, North Dakota is home to 4 of the top 5 coldest cities in the U.S. Now, there's about 250,000 people live in Fargo, and I bet you've heard of it, mostly due to the movie Fargo. But Fargo is expected to experience cold, harsh winters like its other North Dakota counterparts, with the lowest temperature recorded as low as -39, and a January average of -1. This city is the 4th coldest in America. But hey, recently, Fargo has been ranked by ZipRecruiter as the #1 hottest job market and the #1 city to start a career, and the 3rd best to raise a family. So, despite the cold weather and the funny accents, they are doing something right up there in Fargo. Number 3 is Grand Forks, North Dakota. Now, located on the western banks of the Red River, Grand Forks is the 3rd largest city in the state of North Dakota. The city, despite its cold weather, actually has a population of about 55,000 people, which I have to hand it to them. That's actually quite a few people willing to practically freeze to death every year. The city has one of the lowest recorded temperatures at -43, and it's a pretty wild swing. It can go from an average low of -3 in January to an average high of 80 in July. So you really do get a full range of temps. Number 2 is Williston, North Dakota. Rounding out the frozen nothingness that is North Dakota is Williston. Of all the places I've never heard of this the most. Though it is the 6th largest city in North Dakota, which is sort of like being the 6th tallest little person. Nobody really cares. Because of all the oil boom, though, the population has grown, and sometimes it's actually hard to keep in track it. But that also brings problems. According to a February of 2014 article in Business Insider, Williston had the highest apartment rents in the United States. It has the lowest recorded temperature of -50, which makes it the 2nd coldest city. And that brings us to the #1 coldest city in the United States, Fairbanks, Alaska. Fairbanks is hailed as the golden heart of Alaska because I guess the frozen solid heart of Alaska was voted down by the city council. It also holds the record of the lowest temperature recorded in the country at -54, with the average temperature in January at -15. I've actually been to Fairbanks. It was all right, but it was May and it was only slightly freezing. And part of the year, Fairbanks has only 4 hours of sunlight per day, while at other times it can have almost 22 hours of sunlight per day. So it's kind of a crazy little town. When I was there for work, I went back to my hotel and I thought, oh, I'll relax for a little bit and maybe watch some TV before I went to get something to eat. I started watching TV and later on I thought, I should probably get up before it gets dark. It was 10 o'clock. I didn't realize how late it had gotten because it didn't really get dark. My friend Jay used to live there and he said they have midnight softball tournaments because you can play at midnight without the lights. Again, it was all right. If you want to freeze to death in the United States and you find South Dakota too remote, you might want to check out Fairbanks. Hey, I really hope you liked that video. Let me know what you thought. Have you ever been to any of those top 10 coldest places? What'd you think about them? Let me know in the comments. In the meantime, don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the bell so that you are notified every time we drop some new content. In the meantime, have a great day and keep on trekking.